Hello, in this video we will solve 9702 component 11 May June 2023. So here is the first question. Which unit is not an SI base unit? So we know that A ampere SI base unit, kg is SI base unit, second is SI base unit. So C coulomb is not an SI base unit. Question number 2. What is the best estimate of the number of atoms in a piece of metal of volume 50 centimeter cube? So, number of atoms, we know that whatever atomic mass is given, let's say, let's consider example of iron atom. Iron. So, atomic mass of iron is 56. This means 56 gram of iron contain 6.023 into 10 raised to power 23 atoms. Okay. So now if I take 50 centimeter cube of iron, I'm just taking example of iron because no name of the metal is given. So density of iron, if you take, let me check the density of iron. Density of iron is 7.874 gram per centimeter cube. So in 50 centimeter cube, volume mass of iron will be 7.874 into 50, and it will come out to be approximately 400 gram. So in 56 gram we are having this number of atoms. So in 400 gram we will have 400 by 56 into 6.023 into 10 raised to power 23 atoms, and this will come out to be approximately like 4 point something into 10 raised to power 24. Option B is nearest to this. Now, because we can only estimate because no name of the metal is given and they will have different densities. So nearest answers to this is 25. So option B will be the correct. Third question. A copper pipe has a true diameter of 42.03 mm. A builder measures the diameter of the pipe 5 times using digital calipers. The measurements are shown. What describes the builder's measurements? Now, actual value is 42.03 and builder is getting 48, 47. So, this is not accurate. So, this is not accurate. So, A and B option will cancel out. But we can see all the values are having very short range, that is 48.01, 47.99. So, values are precise. So, option D will be the correct one. Precise but not accurate. Fourth question, two forces each of 10 Newton act at point P. The angle between the direction of the forces is 120 degree. What is the magnitude of the resultant force? Now we know that resultant R is given as A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, where theta is the angle between the two vectors and A and B are the magnitudes of the vector. So here one vector is 10, another is also 10, angle is 120, so it will 10 square plus 10 square plus 2 into 10 into cos of 120 degree, then square root, so it will be 100 plus 100 plus 200 into cos 120 value minus 1 by 2. So it will come out to be 100 plus 100 and minus 100, cut out under root 100 or 10. So 10 Newton will be the resultant force. Option B. Fifth question, one object moves directly from P to R in shorter time from P to R, directly moving object 1, and the second object moves from P to Q, then Q to R. P to Q it moves, then Q to R it moves. Which statement about the two objects is correct for the journey from P to R? From P to R we can say like they have the same average speed. Average speed is total distance upon total time taken. Distance upon time taken. Now since distance is different, time taken is different, so this is not the correct one. They have same average velocity. Average velocity is total displacement upon time taken. since displacement is same but time taken is different, so this is not the option. They have same displacement, correct, because displacement is the shortest path, so displacement is same. Question 6, the ball is kicked so that it has an initial velocity of 12 meter per second at an angle of 50 degree to the horizontal ground. Assume the air resistance is negligible. What is the maximum height? Now maximum height we have to find. We know that at maximum height final speed v becomes 0. Now if I consider two components of the velocity, so vertical component of velocity will be 12 sine of 50 degree. This is vertical component of, or we can say initial vertical velocity u. So now applying equation, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So s here will be the maximum height. So maximum height, we can, let's say it is h is equal to v square final velocity 0 minus u square initial velocity is 12 sine 50 degree a square divided by 2 into a. A is here acceleration due to gravity we will take, since it is moving against the force of gravity, so it will be minus 9.81. So on solving this we will get height h is equal to 4.3 meter. Question 7. A camera drone of mass 1.20 kg hovers at a fixed point above the ground. The drone has 4 propellers. In a time of 1.00 second, each propeller pushes a mass of 0.400 kg of air vertically downward. Assume that the air above the propeller is stationary. What is the speed of the air leaving each propeller? So under the factor of its weight, it should fall down. Means its mass is 1.20 kg. So its weight is 1.20 into 9.81. It should fall down, but it is not falling down. Means an upward force is also acting. Now that upward force is due to, because the air is moving vertically downward, so the upward force is acting. Now the, because up thrust will act here. Now how to find that up thrust? So initially the drone was at rest, so initial momentum is 0. Now we can find the change in momentum is equal to force. Change in momentum per unit time is equal to the force applied. Now change in momentum we can calculate, this is mv minus mu by delta t. So initially it is at rest, so we can say it is 0. So here force will be equal to mv by delta t, and this force will be equal to weight only. This force will be equal to the weight. Now this weight here is 1.20 into 9.81, that is the weight acting downward. Now this will be equal to mass. Now which mass here we have to consider? Here each propeller is pushing 0.40 kg of mass. So 4 will push 1.6 kg of mass. Multiply by v. So v velocity here we have to calculate. So v will come out to be 1.20 into 9.81 divided by 1.6. So on solving we can 7.36. So option C is the correct. Question 8. The box rest on earth has shown Newton's third law. Describe how forces of the same type acts in pair. One of the forces of a pair is the weight W of the box. Which arrow represent the other force of this pair? We know that Newton's third law describes that action, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and these action and reaction forces act on opposite bodies. So if the weight W of the box is acting downward, this means earth is attracting box toward itself, so box will attract earth toward itself. So A option will be the correct one. Question 9. A small ball is held at the surface of a liquid oil in a container. The ball is released from rest and falls through the oil. Ball has velocity v. Viscous force effect on a ball. Which graph could show the variation with v of f? Now in this question we can see, as the uh, ball is released from rest, so as it will fall under the effect of gravity, so its speed will increase, and when its speed will increase, viscous force will also increase. Viscous force will also increase. So viscous force is increasing, and So best suitable graph will be, so this option will be wrong because here the speed is increasing and force is decreasing. And in this question we can see it is increasing then decreasing. Here also we can see it is increasing then decreasing. So option A is the correct one. Question number 10. An object of mass m moving at speed u along a frictionless horizontal surface collides head-on with a stationary object of mass 4m. After the collision, the object of mass m rebounds along its initial path with 1 by 4 of its kinetic energy before the collision. What is the speed of the object mass 4m after the collision? Now we have to find the speed after the collision here. So it is not given whether the collision is perfectly elastic or not, but we know that momentum will remain conserved. So if momentum will remain conserved, total initial momentum, total initial momentum is equal to total final momentum. This is law of conservation of momentum. Now initially ball of mass 4m is at rest. So its momentum is 0 and its initial momentum will be mu. Now after collision the object of mass m rebounds along its initial path with 1 by 4 of its kinetic energy. We know that kinetic energy is given as half mv square. Initially it was moving with u, so it will be half mu square. Now kinetic energy is remaining 1 by 4. We know that mass will not change. So kinetic energy is becoming 1/4. This means its velocity has become 1 by 2. Only then kinetic energy will become 1 by 4. Means after collision the mass m will move with velocity u by 2. But since it is moving in opposite direction, so it will be minus half mu plus 4m, let its velocity be v. So it will be mu plus mu by 2 is equal to 4 mv, or 3 mu by 2 is equal to 4 mv. M and m will cancel out. So v is equal to 3u by 8. So option D is the correct one. Question 11. The driver of a car applies two parallel forces to a steering wheel. Each force has magnitude of 15 Newton and acts in the direction as shown. The steering wheel has a diameter of 0.40. What is the torque exerted on the steering wheel? We know that torque exerted is given as either force into perpendicular distance between the forces. So let's say we are considering this force. So this force is 15 sine of 65 degree and the perpendicular distance will be 0.40. So torque will be 15 sine 65 degree into 0.40. So this will come out to be 5.4 Newton meter. Option D is the correct one. Question 12. A farmer is trying to lift the corner of a large water tank. She uses a metal rod as a lever. So picture is given. The vertical force from the farmer is constant and is always applied to the end of the rod. Which change must increase the upward force on the water tank? We know that if we force can be increased if we increase the magnitude of the force, since here force is to be kept constant. Another is increasing the distance from the pivot. Now how this can be done? So using a longer rod and moving the pivot, yes, option A will be correct. If longer rod will be used, so perpendicular distance will increase, or when we will move the pivot closer to the tank, again the perpendicular distance will increase, and when perpendicular distance is increasing, the turning effect or the moment will increase. Question number 13. The diagram shows a ball of weight W hanging in equilibrium from a string. Now the string is at an angle theta to the vertical. The tension in the string is T. The ball is held away from the wall by a horizontal force P. So it is in equilibrium. If this is T, we can resolve tension T into two components. This angle will be theta and this will be T cos theta and this will be T sin theta. First of all, we will write the equation since it is in equilibrium. So this means horizontal forces are equal. P is equal to T sin theta. and vertical forces are equal, so W is equal to T cos theta. Okay, now these P is equal to T, so this option is wrong. T is equal to P plus W, W is equal to P tan theta. So we will try to make this equation. Now let's say this, if we square and add both equations, then we can write P square plus W square is equal to T square sin square theta plus T square cos square theta, or P square plus W square is equal to T square, we can take common, so it will be sin square theta plus cos square theta, and we have identity that sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1, so we will get P square plus W square is equal to T square. So option C is correct, T square is equal to P square plus W square. Question 14th, which expression for pressure is correct? Now we know that pressure is equal to force upon area. Option A is correct. Question 15th, a ball has a mass of 0.50 kg. This is the volume. The ball is floating in equilibrium on still water. Two forces that act on the ball are weight and upthrust due to water. The density of water is given. What is the percentage of the volume of the ball above the surface of the water? Okay. So here we know that since the ball is floating in equilibrium, this means, let's say this is ball, its weight mg will be acting downward and this will be upthrust. Okay, now this upthrust is due to the volume of the water displaced, weight of the volume of water displaced. So this means this is also weight of the volume of water displaced, and we know that mass is given as density into volume. So here density rho of water into G into volume of the water displaced V. Okay. Now if it is in equilibrium, these two will be in, equal, that is rho G V is equal to mg. So G and G will cancel out, so we can find volume here as, it will come to be mass, that is the mass. And one more thing, here the volume of the water displaced is equal to the loss of weight of the object, or we can say the volume, the weight of the volume that is displaced is equal to loss in weight of the object, and this volume of water displaced is equal to volume of the object immersed in the water. So this volume that is immersed in the water will come out to be m by rho, that is 0.50 divided by rho, that is 10 cube. So this will be 0.50 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So this is the volume, that is, this is the volume displaced or volume hidden. Now total volume was 1.3 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So what is the percentage of the volume of the ball above the surface of the water? So it will come out to be 1.3 into 10 raised to power minus 3 minus 0.50 into 10 raised to power minus 3 divided by original, that is 1.3 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So this will be the, we have to find the percentage, so this multiply by 100. So it will come out to be 0.8 into 10 raised to power minus 3 divided by 1.3 into 10 raised to power minus 3 into 100. So on solving we will get 62%. Option C. 16th question, a man sits on a buggy that is pulled along by a wire attached to a kite. The wire is at an angle of 40 degree to the horizontal and has a constant tension of 200 Newton. The man and buggy travel a distance of 20 meters along a straight horizontal path. The wire and the path of the buggy are in the same vertical plane. What is the work done by the tension force on the man and buggy? So we know that work done is given at force into displacement in the direction of force, displacement in the direction of force. Okay. Now The distance covered is given as 20 meter, and force acting here, this will be 200 into cos of 40 degree. So work done will be 200 cos 40 degree multiply by 20, so it will come out to be 3.1 kilojoule. Option B is the correct. Question 17. A ball is thrown vertically upwards from the surface of earth. Which statement describes the energy of the ball as it rises? So as ball will rise, so it will move against the gravity, so its speed will decrease, so kinetic energy will decrease, and since it is rising, height is increasing, so potential energy will increase. Option B, 17th option B is correct. Question 18th. A lamp is suspended in equilibrium from a fixed port by three long identical wires, and the weight of the lamp causes each wire to have an extension of 0.40 centimeter. The height h of the lamp above the floor is measured. The middle wire suddenly breaks and the lamp falls a small distance as the extension increase. The wire is obeying Hooke's law. When the lamp is in equilibrium, the height h above the floor is measured again. What is the difference between the two values of h? Okay. So let's say the weight of the W is weight of the lamp is W. Now the extension in each wire is 0.40. Okay. Now if I say here, if we talk about weight, let's say weight is 3W. Let's say weight is here 3W, and due to this 3W weight acting on three wires, extension is there in each wire. So what will be the weight on each wire? So on each wire weight will be W, and we know that F is given as Kx. Since wires are identical, so K will be same. Means due to W weight, extension is 40 centimeter. Okay. So when the one wire will break, so weight of the lamp will remain same only. But this time this weight will be distributed over 3W will be distributed upon two wires. Means on each wire the weight will now be 1.5 times W. Means 1.5 times W. Spring constant will remain same, and here extension, let the extension is X this time. So on solving this, we can solve these two equations. So we will get 1.5 is equal to x by 40, or x is equal to 60. Means this time the extension is 60. Means earlier, so let's say this was the initial height, this is ground, this is the initial height h. Now this is the new height h dash. Now extension now is, if this is the point from where it is hung, so initially due to extension 40 centimeter the wire is at this point. Now due to 60 centimeter wire will be at this point. So the difference will be 60 minus 40, that is 20 centimeter. So the difference in height will be 20 centimeter. Oh, actually I did a mistake. Here it is 0.40 centimeters. So all values will be 0.40. This will be 0.60, and 0.60 minus 0.40 is equal to 0.20. So option A is correct. Please do the corrections. Here I have misunderstood. 0.40 I took 40. So this correction you can do. Question 19. The force extension graph for a spring is given which represents the work done to extend the spring. So work done is given as area under the graph. Option A is correct. 20th question. In an experiment, a student uses the microphone and CRO to analyze a sound wave. The diagram shows the trace on the screen of the CRO. Student is expecting a sinusoidal waveform to be shown on the screen. Which changes should the student make to the time base and Y gain so that the screen shows a continuous trace for one complete cycle? So time base and Y gain means कि if I take time base means one division is corresponding to how much time, and y gain here, let's say I'm taking amplitude here on y axis, so one division is corresponding to what centimeter of the amplitude this represent. Now since here we cannot see complete waveform, this means each division should correspond to large number of centimeters so that whole waveform can be formed. Let's say if one division is corresponding to 5 centimeter, now for 20 centimeter you will need, for 20 centimeter you will need like 4 division. Now if we want कि this should come in 2 divisions, if I say कि instead of 4 division it should come in 2 division. Now if 20 centimeter to come in 2 division, this means one division should correspond to now 10 centimeter. So this means y gain of the CRO must increase as well as the time base should increase. So 20th question, option D is the correct one. Question 21. The graph show the variation with time of the displacement of a particle in a progressive way. Two measurements x and y are labeled. So what do x and y represent? So x is representing amplitude. So B and D will cancel out. Now what is represented by y? So y here is since it is x axis is time axis, so y will represent period only. So option A is correct. Question 22. A car travels at a constant speed along a straight line PQ. The loudspeaker attached to the car emits a sound of constant frequency F. The stationary observer at point O. What does the observer hear as the car moves from P towards Q? So when car is moving towards Q point, so this is, let's say it is moving with speed V, and this is the line joining car and this observation point O at an angle theta. So this component will be V cos theta. This is the component with which car is approaching the observer. Now as car will move, so theta will increase, and as theta increase we know that cos theta will decrease. Cos theta decrease, this means this component V cos theta will decrease. Now this means कि as it is approaching, velocity is decreasing. But since it is approaching the observer, the frequency will be more than the frequency. So constant frequency is f. So observed frequency will be more than f. But as it will approach, its magnitude will be decreasing. So it will be more than f, but it will decrease as the car moves from P to Q. Question 23rd. Some sources of electromagnetic wave in free space are listed. Which list gives the source in order of increasing wavelength from light ref? Question 23. Some sources of electromagnetic waves in free space are listed. Which list gives the sources in order of increasing wavelength from left to right of the waves emitted by the source? So for X-rays, so we know having short wavelength. So we can start first X-rays, then this red light, then it will be radar transmitter, and at last it will be radio wave transmitter. 2, 4, 3, 1 is the order. Option C is correct. So this question is all about learning. You have to learn the all the frequency and wavelength values, so you can attempt this question easily if you have that learning. Question 24. A vertically polarized beam of light is incident normally on a polarizing filter. The transmission axis of the filter is at an angle of 40 degree to the horizontal. Now this angle is given with horizontal. So what is the ratio of amplitude of transmitted beam upon amplitude of incident beam? We know that intensity is proportional to amplitude square. So if we find intensity of transmitted by intensity of incident, so that we can write as amplitude of transmitted square divided by amplitude of incident square, or amplitude of transmitted by amplitude of incident will be equal to intensity of transmitted by intensity of incident square root. Now transmitted here, since the 40 degree is with the horizontal, and we know that transmitted intensity is given as incident intensity into cos square of theta. So here theta will be 90 degree minus 40 degree, that is 50 degree, because it is given with horizontal. So this will become amplitude transmitted by incident will become I cos square of 50 degree divided by incident intensity. So it will be square root of cos square 50 degree. So it will come out to be on solving 0.64. Question 25. Two progressive waves meet at a point. Which condition must be met for superposition of the waves to occur? Now, for the superposition, the waves must be of the same type only. 25th option B is correct. Question 26. A string is stretched between a vibration generator and a fixed point. When the vibration generator is vibrating at frequency f, a stationary wave with 5 nodes is created on the stressed string as shown. There is node at the end of a string that is attached to a vibration generator. The frequency slowly increase. What is the next frequency that produces a stationary waves? Okay. Now here we can see fourth harmonic is given, and frequency is f. We know that if initial, let's say if initial frequency is f, then for fourth harmonic frequency should become 4 times f. Now see, if at fourth harmonic it is f, so means initial frequency is f by 4. And now for next frequency when stationary waves will be produced, so means after fourth harmonic it will be fifth harmonic. And for fifth harmonic frequency should be 5 times the initial frequency. So it will be 1.2 f, sorry 1.25 times f. Option A is correct. Question 27. A ripple tank and a barrier with a single gap are used to determine the diffraction of surface ripples on water. Initially, the wavelength of the ripple is 5 times smaller than the gap in the barrier. What changes increase the amount of diffraction above? So, initially, the wavelength is 5 times smaller than the gap in the barrier. What increase the amount of diffraction? So, if we want to increase the amount of diffraction, so initially the wavelength is 5 times smaller than the gap in the barrier. What changes? So we want to increase the amount of diffraction observed. So the wavelength should be comparable to the size of the gap. So say wavelength is less, so we should increase the wavelength. This we can do by halving the frequency. Na? To halve the frequency of the ripples. Option C will be the correct one. 27th option C. We will halve the frequency means we will increase the wavelength. Question 28. A laser produces a beam of light of wavelength 650 nanometer. Beam is incident normally on two slits that are distance 0.12 mm apart. Let's say the slit distance be small d. Lambda is given. Screen is placed parallel to slit. The bright interference fringes on the screen have a separation of 7.5 centimeter. So x separation between the fringes is given. What is the distance between the screen and the slits? Let's say this distance be capital D, that we have to find. So this x distance between the fringes is given as d lambda by d. We have to find this capital D. It will be x into d by lambda, that is 7.5 into 10 raised to power minus 2 into d 0.12 into 10 raised to power minus 3 divided by 650 into 10 raised to power minus 9. So on solving this, we will be getting x is equal to 14 meter. We will get 14 meter. So option D is correct. 28th option D is correct. 29th, a beam of light from a laser is incident normally on a diffraction grating. The diagram shows only the second order maxima that are produced, and the grating has a line spacing of 1 into 10 raised to power minus 6. Let this be small d. Second order means n is equal to 2 is given. Angle between the two second order maxima is 110. So this angle will be 55 degree. So we know that the sine theta is equal to n lambda. So lambda will be equal to d sine theta by n. So it will be d here is 1.0 into 10 raised to power minus 6 into sine of 55 degree divided by 2. So on solving you will be getting 4.1 into 10 raised to power minus 7 meter. So option A is correct. Question 30. The current electric current in a metal wire is 4 milliampere. How many electrons pass a fixed point in the wire in time of 10 hours? We know that current is given as charge upon time, and charge is n e by t, where n is number of electrons and is the charge on the electron. So n will be equal to I into t divided by e. 4 milliampere means 4 into 10 raised to power minus 3 multiplied 10 hours. So we will convert hours into second by multiplying by 60 into 60 divided by E. Charge on electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19. So on solving you will be getting 9 into 10 raised to power 20. Option C is correct. Question 31. What is the definition of potential difference across an electrical component? So it is energy transferred per unit charge. So option B is correct for 31. 32. Which graph shows the IV characteristics of a filament lamp? So for a filament lamp, this option D, this figure is representing the IV characteristics. For this, so you have to learn this, like you have to keep these graphs in your mind because they will never change. These are fixed graphs. 33. A metal wire has a length of 2.50 meter. Length is given. Area of cross section 4.50 10 to the minus 6. Resistivity rho is given. The wire is stretched so that its length increases to 2.65 meter. The wire remains cylindrical and the volume of the wire remains constant. What is the change in the resistance? Okay. So you keep this in your mind कि when length increases n time, when length becomes n times, its resistance becomes n square times. So now initial length 2.50 and new length 2.60. So how much time length is increased? 2.65 divided by 2.50. So new resistance will be 2.65. Let's say this is new resistance divided by 2.50 square times the original resistance R. Then if you want to find change, then change in resistance delta R will be new resistance minus original resistance. So it will be 2.65 divided by 2.50 square R minus R. So it will be R into R, we can take common, 2.65 square divided by 2.50 and minus 1. And R is the original resistance that we can find using this formula. R is equal to rho L by A. Rho is given, L is given A. You have to just substitute the values and you will be getting option B, that is 0.024 ohm. 34, which circuit symbol represents a microphone? So this is the symbol for microphone, C. Question 35, a battery with internal resistance R is connected to a fixed resistor, ammeter and voltmeter. The battery is replaced by a different battery that has the same EMF but a greater internal resistance. What happens to the readings on the ammeter and voltmeter? Okay. So when the battery will be replaced by another battery having greater internal resistance means we know that current I is given as E by R plus R. So greater internal resistance means less current will be drawn from the battery, or we can say the ammeter reading will decrease. So ammeter reading will decrease. Now what about the voltmeter reading? Now ammeter reading is decreasing, and since voltmeter here will be representing I into R. So if I is decreasing, this V value will also decrease. So option A is the correct one. Question 36. Four potential divider circuits each consist of a battery of EMF 9 volt and negligible internal resistance connected to a combination of resistors. Each of the resistors in the circuit has resistance X or X 2X. Which circuit has the largest output voltage? So we know that voltage is distributed in the ratio of the resistances. So here we can see the ratio is 1 ratio 1. So it will be 4.5 and 4.5. Here ratio is 1 ratio 2. So it will be 3 volt 6 volt. Here this ratio is, first of all we have to find this value na. 2x and x is in parallel combination, so its resistance will be 2x square by 3x, 2 by 3x. So ratio will be 1 ratio 2 by 3, or we can say it will be 3 ratio 2. So 3 ratio 2, so it will be 5.4 and 3.6. Here it will be opposite 3.6 and 5.4. So which circuit has the largest output voltage? So option D. No, option B, because here it is 6 volt. So option B is the correct one. Question 37. A voltmeter is connected into a circuit with polarity shown. The sliding contact is moved to end P of the potentiometer and then to end Q. What are the two readings of the voltmeter? Okay, slide when this sliding contact will be moved to point P, so this will be the reading sliding contact. So reading will be 3 volt only, and when the sliding contact will be moved towards point Q, now it will include this 3 as well as this 3, so it will be 6 volt. So option D is the correct. Question 38. Proton has mass mp, charge plus E. What are the mass and charge of an antiproton? We know that for antimatter or antiparticle, mass remains same and charge is opposite. So mass will remain mp only and charge will become minus E. So option D is correct. 39. Uranium nucleus has 92 protons, 143 neutrons. The nucleus emit total 3 alpha particle and 4 beta particle to form nucleus X. How can nucleus X be represented? Now we know that 92 proton and 143 neutrons, so it will be 92 uranium 143 plus 92 235, and it is emitting 3 alpha particles mean 3, 2 helium 4 and 4 beta particles mean 4. How can, and plus 1 nucleus X will be formed? So here we know that it is charge of charge will be conserved, so it will be 6 minus 4 2, so it will become 90, and here it is 12. So 235 minus 12, it will be 223. So option D is correct. 39, option D is correct. Question 40. Which statement about a proton is correct? We know that proton is made up of three quarks, that is UUD. And if it is made up of three quarks, this means proton is a baryon. And if it is a baryon, then it cannot be a meson. So option A is correct. 40th, option A is correct. Proton is a baryon but not a meson. Thanks for watching the video.